Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. So we're going to talk about how to disarm the narcissist. We went through our narcissistic discard. Hopefully we're free from our abuser or we left, but we're going to encounter narcissists in the future. How can we handle things differently? And what are the things that we did that kind of empowered our narcissist? Because there are things that we did that we thought we were doing right, when actually if we would have handled it in a different way, we would have protected ourselves. So we're going to get into that. So we have to remember NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, it varies person to person. It can be anything from silence to violence, anything in between, or a mixture of all the abuse tactics. Malignant narcissists, those are the ones that aren't bothered by guilt. They can be sadistic and actually take pleasure putting pain upon somebody else. They can be competitive. So there's all these different types of mental illness. So sometimes we have to be careful that we're not searching so much for the diagnosis as to how they treated us. The objective of a narcissist, what they want is power. And it seems to come out whenever there's some type of trigger. And we don't always know what those triggers are. The narcissist expects us to know, and there's no way of knowing it. They don't tell us because we don't know what's going on in somebody's mind. You don't know what's going on in my mind today. Same with a narcissist. And also with all the lies, we can't use deductive reasoning to figure out the best way to handle it. So we have to utilize the red flags and some different strategies. So by understanding, it can empower us. So the narcissist, they need to feel superior in the best of the best or the worst of the worst. And it's kind of like a bully. They utilize defenses of rage, self-inflation, arrogance, and it's because of the shame that they suffer. And I had a kid today hit me in the stomach, and I'm a teacher, and he got frustrated and he hit me. And then he's crying. He's like, I didn't mean it. And he just didn't know how to handle his frustrations. That's why some of our narcissists, the kid was, he was probably 6 years old. And the narcissists, they kind of react like children do. The more I'm interacting with children, the more you can see that the narcissist really is in that emotional state of the child. So when our narcissist says, that they didn't mean something, they meant the action. Sometimes it's just even like that little kid. I wasn't thinking I hit you. And then they cry. He was sorry because he didn't want to get in trouble by his parents. He wasn't sorry that he hit me. You get that? He wasn't sorry that he hit me. He was sorry that he didn't want to get in trouble. And then he starts freaking out and, I'll do whatever you want type stuff. And that's what the narcissist does. When they apologize to us, it's because they're afraid of getting in trouble or the consequences. Narcissists hate consequences, but we have to give them. Just like the child, I have to give that child a consequence or they're going to keep doing it. So some of the mistakes that can happen are appeasing the person to where we overlook things. Like if I overlook that kid, he's just going to keep hitting me. Sometimes even harder. We have to do that with our narcissist or somebody who's narcissistic to us. Is no tolerance on that. It can't keep happening over and over again. Now, in a relationship, we can leave that relationship. As a teacher, yeah, I can leave the job. Or if it gets bad enough, they'll pull the kid and take him to a different school. Sometimes you're stuck in a certain situation, but we have to stay safe. We don't have to have relationships with toxic people. So pleading, if we're pleading with them, just like if I told the kid, just please don't hit me. It really hurts my feelings. And please, please, please. And I'll do anything you want. And, if you don't hit me, I'll give you a sucker. And like, we can't do that. We can't do that with our narcissist. Withdrawal. So sometimes, we might need to gather our thoughts, our emotions, but things need to be handled. If we give our narcissist the silent treatment or don't talk about it, the narcissist doesn't like to talk about it either. But that's kind of goes along with the appeasement. We can't do that, or it's just going to get worse, or it's unintentionally giving them permission to continue with the abuse. So just like if I would do with that kid, didn't handle it, just let it go, it's going to happen again. It will happen again. So you have to face things head on. The narcissist doesn't like to do it. And when you're dealing with somebody in a childlike state, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to get through to them. I had another one that I was trying to help him. And he's all high and mighty that he knows what he's doing. And you try to correct him, they don't listen. And then they throw the little temper tantrum and give little jabs and try to push your buttons. And that kid actually had my blood boil. Like, oh, it was not a good day because you're trying to help them. And then they like, because I teach art now. And he's like, well, who needs art? And that doesn't hurt my feelings. But, you know, there are some good things with art. We learn angles and shading and all that stuff, but depends on what job you go into. But whatever. As far as that, that's fine. But when you're trying to say that you're trying to help them and they come back, you're not trying to help me. And then you're like, yes, I am. I'm trying to show you this. And then he's like, I already know how to do it. And I'm like, well, if you knew how to do it, then you would have done it correctly. Because he's like, I can't do it. Everybody else is better than me. The poor pity me type thing. It's a like trying to get out of it. Like everybody else is better than me. Our narcissist will feel that. Sometimes they don't always verbalize it. The vulnerable ones will verbalize it. My best friend's man, yeah, he's got something going on, but he does the poor pity me thing all the time. And you know, we can't feed into that, you know. Arguing, fighting doesn't help. Like if I'm going to argue with this little kid on why he can't hit me or why he's got to do his work. And sometimes too, like that one who said art doesn't matter. I already know. I don't need to know this. I already know it. And obviously he doesn't. It's that false image. Like I know it. I know it. I can't prove it. It's a lie. They don't know it. So I kind of, you know, it was a rough day and I'm trying to reason with this kid, trying to explain that I'm trying to help him. And this, it goes in one ear, out the other. When they get into that mode, it's like a child in their little tantrum. They zone out. They don't listen to reason. And some narcissists are incapable. My second one was just like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And I'm like, exactly. They don't get it no matter how many times you say it. So explaining, defending, anything beyond, you know, okay, so when we address the problem of what's being said and explain, defend our position, we give our abuser the right to judge, approve, and abuse us. So when this is something I struggle with, because to me, I think it's polite, you know, to explain certain things. That's just me. You know, I can't come this weekend because I have to do this. I wish I could be there, but I'm sick or whatever it is. But when we do the explaining, as opposed to I can't be there today, you know, when we explain it, that gives the narcissist, oh, so you think your health is more important than this, or you don't have time because you're going to your sister's, whatever it is, it'll give them opportunities to judge us, approve whether or not it's something they deem reasonable, and to abuse us because of us. Now they'll either give us the silent treatment. We don't even know. You're like, I thought I was being polite. I told you I can't come because I had to go to my sister's medical appointment, this, that, and now we're being abused. We're having angry thoughts put onto us because the narcissist likes to project things. So seeking understanding is one mistake that we can make. So depending on upon how narcissistic somebody is, when we share our feelings, we can also expose ourselves to more hurt and manipulation. So when we share our feelings, we need to share them with somebody who actually cares about us, because the narcissist doesn't relate to that. The narcissist doesn't relate to it. So if we call and we're like, I'm really sad, my friend just got in a car accident and I'm freaking out. I don't know if they're going to survive. Like, what does that have to do with me? I'm busy. But if you're like, hey, I'd like to make you dinner and maybe have a little rendezvous, they might pick up on that, but they don't care about our feelings. Our feelings irritate them because they don't want to deal with it. It's too much of a hassle. They want to do what they want to do. So if we criticize or complain, the narcissist, they're insecure. They dish out criticism, they complain, but they can't take it. So they can dish it out, but they can't take it. And that can provoke a rage within them. They can become vindictive. So also avoid making threats. This can lead to retaliation. It can even backfire on us if we don't carry them out. And I know a lot of us, we have a hard time setting boundaries. And sometimes if you're going to say that you're going to do something, you have to follow through. If you say, if you cheat, I have to leave, and then you stay, there's their ticket. They feel that they can do it again. We have to hold our boundaries, because otherwise it's an empty threat and they'll push their luck with it. So one thing that you have to be careful about is not to fall into the trap of denial by accusing, minimizing, rationalizing abuse, using that cognitive dissonance and excusing their behavior. We can't do that. We can't keep thinking that it's going to go away or that it's going to get better. As you can see across the YouTube channels, all this narcissistic abuse, what it has led to, all these people saying, I thought they would change, or they promised me this and they didn't follow through, or they followed through for a little while. Even the self-aware narcissists struggle and go for years because it's not something that cures itself. So even the self-aware narcissists are trying to stay on track. They tell us to stay away from them. It's hypocritical in a sense, because they feel it's like that grandiose, like we are trying. The one says that he feels that he loves his wife. They talk about actions versus words. And yeah, actions do say a lot. Actions do say a lot. But also we have to remember the narcissist in the love bombing stage is doing actions. So these self-aware narcissists, who they are hasn't changed. So at least now they're polite and you can coexist with them, where they keep themselves in check a little bit more. They still feel those angers. They still feel the devaluation stage. They struggle with things. It's, right now I could come to your house. I could clean your house for you, pay your bills. I could watch your kids, maybe sleep with you, whatever it is. Doesn't mean I love you. It's actions. So you could be like, yeah, she does everything for me. Like she really cares. She shows up every day, and you don't know my intent. And that's what I love about being in love, is the feeling, the love. Not somebody cleaning for me, not somebody paying my bills. So these self-aware narcissists, they still are, they're doing things, but they're still not truly loving the person heart to heart. They're not connecting. They're taking the time to talk to the spouse. But just like if I came over to your house, we might have a great conversation, but that's it. And that's kind of what it is with the narcissist. They just pick their favorite supply, who's the best cleaner, who makes the best meals. And you might say, oh, I make better meals than the other one. But it depends on what their criteria is for who they want to be with. So we're sitting there, oh, she or he's prettier or better looking than I am. Maybe that's not the criteria that's important. Maybe it's the money that you make or whatever, social connections, networking at work connections. We also have to be careful not to self-blame. We shouldn't blame ourselves for our abuser. And by trying harder to be perfect, you know, we can't cause anyone. We're responsible for our behavior. So when we react, we have to be really careful. And, you know, we sit there and criticize ourselves and give ourselves a hard time. Sometimes we feel we're never going to be perfect enough. And that's because the narcissist is never happy. So it's not about, are you the prettiest or the richest or the funniest, smartest, whatever. It's the narcissist. It is because of the narcissist insecurity. It's not because of who you are. So when we start thinking, is this new supply better than me? It's just a different supply. And to handle this better, we have to confront this abuse in an effective way. So when we allow the narcissist to abuse us, it starts damaging our self-esteem. You can see it all across the channels, you know, how hard it is to start doing things again. We break connections with people. So when we have somebody trying to abuse us, we have to confront it because it does damage our self-esteem. Even just little texts where if we text somebody and they don't text us back, or they wait a week, or they cancel their plans without you know, giving us notice, just blowing us off, giving us a silent treatment, ghosting us, a pattern of where we feel that they love us as that love bomb, then they're gone. And they're so sporadic. When things are intermittent like that, it causes a trauma bond. Trauma bonds cause CPTSD, they cause brain damage. It's toxic. And we have to have somebody who's willing to communicate with us, because there's two people in the relationship. So we need to know that we have a right to feel safe in a relationship. And when in that example of just a text back, it's respectful. That's how society is set up. You know, just like getting emails. If we don't get an email back, it's rude. We get mad at companies like, I'm a customer and you can't respond to me. Or a doctor's appointment, and we try to contact them and they don't get back with us. It's rude. And when you're in a relationship with somebody, that's who should respect you. You hope the companies do, but somebody you're in a relationship with, blowing you off, that's not acceptable, because it's us giving them some energy, us giving them some love. And it should be a balance. I give you some, you give me some back. You know, I give you some happy energy, you give me happy energy back. People are happy when the energies match. If you both hate each other, fuck it, you both hate each other. You don't have to deal with each other. If one person loves one and the other doesn't, this person is just going to suck it dry. That's what the narcissist does. And it makes this person empty. So know your rights, that we have to set boundaries. We have a right not to give into sex or sexual activities that we're not comfortable with. We have a right to our feelings, to have them validated instead of shot down. They don't have to agree with us, but it's nice to be acknowledged. It's nice to be acknowledged. So people who have been abused for a long time or as a child, whether it's in adulthood or as a child, it starts to attack the self-esteem. And sometimes we can start to lose trust in ourselves. We start having a difficult time making decisions. It's hard to have our confidence. We start changing our lives based on our self-esteem being lowered. We're not as willing to take on challenges or to be motivated to do things. So it's important to be assertive when you talk to the narcissist. It's important that we tell people that we don't accept the way they're talking to us, to tell them they need to stop. It's okay to walk away. And when we acknowledge them that, look, there's a problem, I can't talk to you anymore if you're going to talk to me that way. And if they continue, you have to walk away to show them that I mean what I say. It's okay to say that I understand what you're saying. You can repeat it back to them and say it's okay to disagree. I see things differently. It's okay to say your feelings. But with a narcissist, it's really hard to get that balance, because it's like talking to a child. Like when I had that kid in art, the second one I mentioned, my blood boiled, because I'm like, this is, whoo, it feels helpless. It feels helpless. Like, I'm trying everything. Connect with me. I'm trying to tell you I'm here for you. I'm trying to acknowledge that you have talent, and it takes time to practice. And no, it was such a bad day. So we can also, take away the abuse part and not take it personally. And that's hard to do, because they're jabbing at us, and they're trying to use that's why they study us so much, is to get little things that are going to irritate us, triggers. And I had this where they tell you that you're a rotten cook, that you burnt dinner, and you can acknowledge, yeah, I burnt dinner. It happens to even the best cooks or whatever, but you don't have to take it personally, and that you're this crappy cook, that you don't know what you're doing. And even if you are, that's not what makes a person a good person. We have to remember that. So it's important to be strategic, to think of how we're going to respond to the narcissist, because narcissists use certain words, and they are so crafted in the way that they talk to us. They avoid accountability just in the way that talk to us. They give us that word salad to confuse us. We never get straight answers from them. It's crazy making, and we have to be succinct. With my second one, and this was after we broke up, we were still kind of talking, but I had to say effective communication. Like, whatever he's saying, he's giving me this bullshit. You're asking direct questions, and you just got done talking about how you're gonna like communicate better, and then they send you a little haha smiley face, and you're like, geez, you're not even answering my question. Or they will answer like not what you're really asking. Like I'm something like, I hope you're having a great day, but I'd really appreciate if you text me today. Can you get back to me? So what you want to know is that they're going to get back to you, and they know that. And what they'll do is like, oh yeah, I am having a great day. So they respond to you. You're like, okay, that's nice, but, and maybe I should have said phone call instead of text. So you're wondering, are they going to call me? Like, that's great that they text me back, but I just want to know if they're going to call me. And they acknowledge your text, they acknowledge a portion of it, but not what's important. And they know what's important to you, whatever the situation is. Like, are you going to go with me to my cousin's wedding? It's okay if you're not, just let me know. And they're like, I bet you're going to, what color dress are you going to wear? And you're like, but are you going with me? And, they might say something like, I don't know, I have a white and blue suit that would match. And you're like, okay, but I would like the comfort to know that you're going with me. And it's like a game to them and then it twists everything, where you seem so needy. And then you start like, I'm not needy. I just want to an answer. Like, I'd like you to go with me. And it kills your self-esteem. Like, why can't you just answer? It makes you feel invisible. And we have to be real careful when people give us the silent treatment. It makes us feel like we're in this alternate reality. They're treating us like we're dead. And be real careful on that, because I keep talking about this matched energy that sometimes we get so down that we're trying to connect with the feeling and the pain that's being put on us. So we're getting pain that says you're dead to me. And that's why some of us struggle with thinking about suicide. Don't do it. 988 is the suicide hotline. It's free in America. One is a country code. There's other things out there that you can research. Comment below if you need help. There are therapists, but we have to be careful on the energy that's put upon us. We want somebody who builds us up, and we're willing to get that back. But with the narcissist, it's like they pull the rug out from under us, or we feel like we're drowning. Like I used to always say, like, I feel like I'm drowning, and I'm just asking, you have the life preserver, just throw it to me. And we get so desperate. And what I mean by that analogy is where you're like, I just want to know, I'm stuck. I'm trying to be respectful to you. I want you to go to this wedding. This is an example. Like, I'm trying to be polite to you that I'm offering this so we can have time together. And you don't have to go, but tell me what's up. And then we start feeling disrespected. Then we feel confused, and we don't know if we should just invite, like, just a female friend, just, somebody to hang out with. Because we're trying to be respectful. We're not trying to date. Maybe we're like, screw this person. I'm going to take a real date. And you're like, I just want that answer. You hold the answer to make me feel okay again. And we shouldn't be dependent upon somebody else on how we feel. But it's so confusing, because you should feel safe in that situation. Like, you're treating me like I'm dead. You're treating me so insignificant. And then we're like, okay, I'll just wait a little bit. I'll wait a couple days. Then we hit them up again. They still don't get to, and we're like, what? We didn't get in a fight. Narcissists are so hard to deal with. And it's toxic because of the energy. They're going to bring you hateful energy. And either we're going to put it back on our narcissist, it's going to destroy the relationship anyways, or we absorb it. And we start to hate ourselves, in a sense. That energy's got to go somewhere. It's real interesting how people affect each other. Every little everything, every little look, or rolling their eyes, just every little thing. It's all a balance. And sometimes we're courteous enough to say, hey, is something wrong? Because sometimes we're like, is it me? Am I upsetting you? And it could be something else that the narcissist is dealing with, but they don't tell us. They give us that attitude. So then we start to internalize it, because we're getting that anger. Maybe it was a bad day at work, and we're trying to understand that, so we know how to handle it. Like, do you want me to draw a bath for you? Do you want me to do this? Or do you need some time alone? We don't know how to handle it, because the narcissist doesn't even tell us what's wrong. They put negative energy on us, and we don't know what to do with it. And we don't want to upset them more, because we love the person, but it's not returned to us. So please like and subscribe. Topic requests are definitely welcomed. And just remember to set your boundaries. Don't explain yourself so much. Narcissists use that as a weapon. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.